I walked into the house, exhausted from a grueling shift at the hospital, and stopped dead in my tracks. The faint sound of laughter echoed from the living room, a sound that was too close for comfort. It wasn't the sort of sound I expected when I came home after a long day. My heart sank as I noticed the lights on and a figure, tall, muscular, moving past the frosted glass of the front door. I opened the door slowly, trying to stifle the growing sense of dread. My wife, Melissa, was sprawled on the couch, her head resting against Kevin's shoulder. Kevin, our neighbor and a well-known sports trainer, was laughing and chatting as if it were the most natural thing in the world. They didn't notice me at first. I stood there, frozen, trying to process the scene before me. Melissa, with her auburn hair cascading over the couch, looked radiant in the dim light. But there was a familiarity in her gaze, a softness that should have been reserved for me, not for Kevin. As I watched them, I felt an icy chill running down my spine. It was clear that something was wrong, that something had shifted. "Andrew," Melissa exclaimed as she finally noticed me standing by the door. Her face turned pale, and the warm atmosphere of the room was instantly replaced by an awkward silence. Kevin looked up, a sheepish grin on his face that did nothing to hide the tension in the room. "Hey," I managed to say, though my voice was almost a whisper. "I didn't know you were having company." Kevin cleared his throat. "I was just dropping by to discuss some training tips with Melissa." "Didn't mean to overstay." I forced a tight smile, nodding curtly. "No problem. I'm just going to bed." As I made my way to our bedroom, the weight of the situation began to sink in. I had my suspicions, of course, but seeing them together like this was a punch to the gut. The little signs, the late-night texts, the unexplained absences, had all been there, but I'd ignored them. Now, the truth was glaringly obvious. That night, sleep eluded me. My mind raced through a storm of thoughts and emotions. I couldn't shake the image of Melissa's eyes, the way she had looked at Kevin, like she was a teenager caught up in a whirlwind romance. It was a side of her I hadn't seen before, and it cut deeper than any knife. The next morning, as I pretended to be the usual supportive husband, I couldn't stop the gears in my head from turning. I needed to confront Melissa, but I had to be sure. I decided to gather evidence, to make sure I had the full picture before taking any drastic steps. I started by checking Melissa's phone, which was carelessly left on the kitchen counter. The texts were there, flirty, intimate messages between her and Kevin. My heart sank further with each swipe. I felt like a fool for not seeing the signs earlier. The days that followed were filled with a careful observation of their interactions. I noted Kevin's frequent visits, their private conversations, and the increasing warmth between them. It was clear that their relationship had moved beyond friendship. I had to act, but I wanted to do it in a way that wouldn't immediately reveal my hand. Revenge was on my mind, but it had to be calculated and precise. If I was going to make Kevin pay for this betrayal, I needed to be strategic. One night, while Kevin was at our place for a so-called training session, I found an opportunity to slip a small vial of medication into his drink. It was a substance I had access to through my work, a carefully concocted formula that would induce temporary muscle weakness. It was a precise tool for a precise job. I watched him down the drink, a smug satisfaction growing inside me. A week later, Kevin began to show signs of the effects. He struggled to lift weights, his once powerful frame now failing him during workouts. His clients noticed, and the stories began to circulate. The downfall was swift and public. Melissa's decision to move in with Kevin was predictable, though it didn't ease the sting. They were now the subject of whispers and judgments, their once promising futures now marred by scandal. And while they wrestled with their new reality, I found myself reflecting on the path that led us here. The truth of the matter was clear. The fallout from my actions had only just begun. The world I once knew was unraveling, and the bitter taste of revenge was leaving an aftertaste I couldn't ignore. The days following that fateful evening were a whirlwind of emotions and decisions. My mind was constantly racing, consumed by thoughts of revenge and the intricate details of how to execute my plan. I couldn't shake the image of Melissa and Kevin together. It haunted me every waking moment. If there was any solace to be found, it was in the clarity of my purpose. I had a reputation for being meticulous, a trait that served me well in my medical career. I would need every ounce of that precision now. The plan had to be flawless. One misstep could lead to exposure or worse, a failure to exact the revenge I so desperately sought. The first step was to ensure Kevin's downfall was both effective and discreet. My background as a physician provided me with access to various substances. But I had to choose carefully. The goal was not to cause permanent harm but to render Kevin physically incapacitated, at least temporarily. I decided on a substance that would induce muscle weakness without leaving a trace in standard drug tests. Melissa seemed increasingly distant, though her visits to Kevin's apartment grew more frequent. It was as if she was trying to escape the reality of our crumbling relationship by immersing herself in this new, thrilling affair. I observed her, noting her every move and interaction. Her disregard for our marriage was infuriating, but it also fueled my resolve. One evening, as Melissa was out with friends, I found my chance to prepare for the next phase. I had secured a vial of the medication from a colleague at the hospital, someone who didn't ask too many questions. The medication was designed to cause temporary muscle weakness, ideal for someone like Kevin, whose career relied heavily on physical strength. Kevin's regular visits to our house provided the perfect opportunity to execute my plan. I arranged for a training session at our home, knowing Kevin would be there alone. The house was eerily quiet when he arrived, and I greeted him with a casual nod, hiding my excitement behind a mask of normalcy. "Hey, Kevin, glad you could make it," I said, offering him a drink. It was a simple gesture, but inside that drink was a dose of the medication. I made sure it was mixed thoroughly so that there was no visible change in color or taste. Kevin accepted the drink with a smile, chatting amiably about his latest clients and upcoming events. I watched him with a detached interest, my mind focused on the task at hand. As he drank, I felt a twisted sense of satisfaction. If everything went according to plan, Kevin would soon be facing the consequences of his actions. A week later, the signs of the medication's effects were unmistakable. Kevin, once a powerhouse at the gym, began to struggle with even the lightest of weights. His clients noticed his decline, and rumors began to spread. The once respected sports trainer was now the subject of gossip and concern. The public scrutiny was intense, and Kevin's career began to unravel. Melissa's reaction to Kevin's deteriorating condition was mixed. She was visibly distressed but also seemed to be trying to support him through this crisis. It was clear that her feelings for Kevin were strong, but the pressure of his failing career was starting to take its toll on their relationship. As the scandal grew, Melissa decided to move in with Kevin. It was a predictable outcome, given the circumstances, but it did little to ease the sting of betrayal. They were now the focus of whispers and judgment, their once promising futures overshadowed by the mess they had created. The public fallout was swift and unforgiving. Kevin's inability to perform his duties led to a significant loss of clients and, eventually, his reputation. The once celebrated trainer was now a cautionary tale of ambition gone awry. Melissa, too, was caught in the crossfire, her choices scrutinized by everyone who had once admired her. As I watched their world crumble, I couldn't help but feel a pang of emptiness. The revenge I had sought so fervently had been achieved, but the aftermath left me with a hollow victory. The dynamic I had hoped to restore by bringing Kevin down had instead left a void where our life had once been. Reflecting on the chaos I had orchestrated, I wondered if there would ever be a point where the pain and anger subsided. The path I had chosen had irrevocably altered the course of my life, and as the dust settled, I was left to confront the consequences of my actions. The days after Kevin's public downfall were a blur of media frenzy and social media outrage. The spectacle of his fall from grace had captivated the city, and Melissa's choice to stand by him only fueled the fire. The once respected sports trainer was now a punchline in countless jokes and a symbol of failure. As for Melissa, she had become a pariah, seen as the woman who abandoned her husband for a man now disgraced. I followed the unfolding drama from a distance, my emotions a tangled mess of satisfaction and emptiness. I had achieved my goal, but the cost was far higher than I had anticipated. My life had become a spectator sport, with people I once considered friends now looking at me with pity or judgment. The lines between my professional life and personal vendetta had blurred, and the consequences were impossible to ignore. Melissa's decision to move in with Kevin had been both expected and inevitable. She had immersed herself in his world, attempting to build a life amidst the wreckage of their public disgrace. Their apartment was now a shell of what it once was, filled with the echoes of a failed dream and the strained attempts at normalcy. I watched as the drama unfolded from the sidelines, a cold observer of my own creation. Melissa and Kevin were now isolated from the community, their social circles shrinking to a handful of sympathizers and opportunists. The once vibrant lives they led had become shadowed by the weight of their choices. My own life had also taken a hit. The hospital where I worked had been drawn into the scandal, with whispers and sideways glances becoming a part of my daily routine. Colleagues and patients alike seemed to question my judgment, and the professional respect I had worked so hard to earn was starting to erode. One evening, while I was at home alone, the phone rang. It was Melissa. I hadn't spoken to her since everything fell apart, and her call came as a surprise. "Andrew, we need to talk," she said, her voice tinged with a mix of desperation and resolve. I agreed to meet her at a quiet cafe, a neutral ground where we could talk without the prying eyes of the public. The encounter was surreal. Melissa, once so full of life, now looked worn and tired. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and there was a weariness about her that spoke volumes. "Andrew," she started, her voice breaking slightly, I don't know where to begin. Everything's fallen apart. Kevin's career is in shambles, and I don't know how to fix it. I thought we could work things out, but now I see how badly I misjudged everything. Quote. I listened in silence, my mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Part of me wanted to take solace in her regret, to find vindication in her acknowledgement of the mess I had orchestrated. But another part of me was torn, seeing the woman I once loved and still cared for in such pain. "I'm sorry, Andrew," she continued. "I was wrong. I should never have let things get this far. But can we try to find a way to fix this? Maybe we can start over." Her words were like a dagger, a painful reminder of the life we once had. I had been so consumed by my quest for revenge that I had failed to consider the possibility of reconciliation. Now, faced with her genuine remorse, I was left to confront my own feelings and the reality of our situation. As we spoke, I found myself reflecting on the choices that led us here. The betrayal, the revenge, and the subsequent fallout had shattered our lives, and there was no simple way to piece them back together. The bitterness of my actions lingered, and I realized that while I had succeeded in my revenge, I had also lost a part of myself in the process. Melissa's visit was a turning point, a moment of reckoning where the consequences of my actions became painfully clear. The path ahead was uncertain, and I was left to grapple with the remnants of the life I had once known, now irrevocably changed. The cafe where Melissa and I had met became a bittersweet memory, a place where I confronted the reality of the wreckage we had created. Her words lingered in my mind, a haunting reminder of how far we had fallen. I spent the next few days in a daze, reflecting on the choices that led to this point and grappling with the consequences of my actions. The atmosphere at work was becoming increasingly uncomfortable. My colleagues' looks were filled with a mix of curiosity and judgment, and even the usually pleasant interactions with patients felt strained. The scandal had cast a long shadow over my professional life, and despite my efforts to maintain normalcy, it was clear that the damage was done. Melissa's attempts to mend things with Kevin had not gone well. The strain of his failing career was taking its toll on their relationship, and the mounting pressure from their social circle was driving a wedge between them. It was evident that their attempt to salvage something from the wreckage was only accelerating their mutual downfall. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at the hospital, I received an unexpected visitor at my door. It was Kevin. His once confident demeanor was now replaced by a look of defeat and exhaustion. He stood there, a shadow of the man I had once despised, and for a moment, I felt a pang of sympathy. "Andrew," he began, his voice hoarse, "I need to talk to you." I let him in, and we sat in the living room, the silence between us thick and heavy. Kevin's eyes were filled with a mix of anger and vulnerability, and I could tell that he was struggling with his own demons. "I know what you did," Kevin said finally, breaking the silence. "I know you were behind the medication. I don't understand why you did it, but I want to know if you're going to keep this up or if there's a chance we can work something out." His words hit me like a freight train. I had expected Melissa to confront me, but hearing Kevin's accusation was unexpected and unsettling. My initial reaction was to defend my actions, to justify the revenge I had sought. But as I looked at Kevin's broken figure, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of regret. "Kevin," I said, my voice trembling slightly, "I didn't do it just to hurt you. I did it because I felt betrayed and angry. I wanted you to understand the pain you caused, but now I see that all I've done is create more pain. Kevin's face softened slightly, and for the first time, I saw a glimpse of the man who had once been a respected figure in our community. Melissa and we're struggling. The damage is done, and I don't think there's any way to fix it. But I need to understand why this happened. Why things turned out this way. We talked for hours that night, sharing our stories and grievances. Kevin spoke about the pressure he felt to maintain his image and the challenges he faced as his career began to crumble. I shared my own story, the sense of betrayal and anger that had driven me to take drastic measures. It was an awkward and painful conversation, but it was also cathartic. As the night wore on, I realized that both Kevin and I were trapped in our own cycles of pain and regret. The revenge I had sought had not only damaged his life but had also left me hollow and broken. It was clear that there were no easy answers or simple solutions to the mess we had created. The next morning, Kevin and I agreed to put aside our animosity, at least for the time being. We were both casualties of a situation that had spiraled out of control, and continuing the cycle of retribution would only deepen the wounds. Our lives had intersected in a way that had caused immense suffering. And now, it was up to us to find a way forward. Melissa, meanwhile, was caught in the middle of our fractured relationships. The fallout from the scandal had pushed her to the brink, and she was left to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. The love she had once shared with Kevin was now tainted by the scandal and public scorn, and the future was uncertain. As I watched the lives of those involved unravel, I was left to confront the reality of my actions. The sense of vindication I had initially felt had given way to a deep, pervasive regret. The damage was done, and the road to healing seemed long and uncertain. In the end, I was left with the sobering realization that revenge, while satisfying in the short term, had only led to more pain and heartache. The journey to rebuild and find redemption would be challenging, but it was clear that facing the consequences of my actions was the first step toward any form of resolution. Life, as it often does, continued to move forward, dragging me along with it. The weeks following my conversation with Kevin were marked by a growing sense of disillusionment. The initial satisfaction from my revenge had faded, leaving behind a landscape of personal and professional ruin. The hospital where I worked was no longer a refuge but a battleground of whispered judgments and strained interactions. My colleagues, once friends, now eyed me with a mix of suspicion and pity. Patients seemed to question my integrity, and the respect I had built over years was rapidly eroding. The scandal had cast a long shadow, and the more I tried to move on, the more it felt like I was being dragged back into the mess I had created. Kevin's condition continued to deteriorate, both physically and emotionally. His career was in ruins, and he struggled to find a way to rebuild his life. The once proud sports trainer was now a cautionary tale, and the sympathy he received was often tinged with schadenfreude. His public appearances were marked by desperation, and the media hounded him for any sign of vulnerability. Melissa, too, was in a precarious position. The fallout from her decision to stand by Kevin had left her isolated. Friends and family who had once been close now avoided her, and the social circles she once moved in had shunned her. She was living in a small apartment with Kevin, trying to salvage something from the wreckage, but the weight of their joint disgrace was a constant burden. One evening, as I was heading home from work, I received a message from Melissa. It was a simple request to meet, and though I was reluctant, I agreed. The cafe where we had met before had become a familiar setting. A place where our fractured lives seemed to intersect in unexpected ways. Melissa looked older than I remembered, the stress of recent events etched deeply into her face. She greeted me with a forced smile, and we sat down, the air between us thick with unspoken words. "Andrew," she began, her voice wavering, "I don't know how to say this, but things are getting worse. Kevin's health is deteriorating rapidly, and he's becoming more withdrawn. I've tried to be there for him, but I'm at a loss. I don't know how to fix this, and I don't know what to do." Her words were a sharp reminder of the consequences of my actions. The damage I had caused was not confined to Kevin's career, it was affecting every aspect of their lives, including Melissa's. The guilt that had been building inside me now came crashing to the surface. "I never wanted it to come to this," I said quietly. I was so consumed by my own pain and anger that I didn't stop to consider the broader impact. "Seeing you both struggling like this, it's not what I wanted." Melissa's eyes filled with tears, and for a moment, we were both just two people caught in the aftermath of a shared disaster. I'm sorry too, Andrew. I should have handled things differently. But now, I don't know how to move forward. Kevin's health issues are becoming more severe, and the stress is taking a toll on both of us. The conversation was painful but necessary. It was a moment of reckoning, where the reality of our choices and their consequences came crashing down. We both understood that the path we had taken had led to a point of no return. And the road to redemption was fraught with challenges. After our meeting, I found myself reflecting on the weight of my actions. The initial satisfaction of revenge had given way to a deeper, more troubling realization. The path to true resolution required more than just acknowledging the damage done. It required taking responsibility and finding a way to make amends. In the days that followed, I made a decision. I would reach out to Kevin, not as an adversary but as someone who was willing to offer assistance. Despite everything that had happened, I knew that helping him recover, even in a small way, was the only way to begin to undo some of the harm I had caused. I contacted Kevin, proposing a meeting to discuss ways I could offer support. It was an uncomfortable but necessary step, and I hoped that by taking this initiative, I could start to make amends for the damage I had inflicted. As I awaited his response, I realized that the journey ahead was not just about repairing the relationships that had been broken but also about reconciling with myself. The fallout from my actions had created a complex web of pain and regret, and the path to healing would require honesty, humility, and a willingness to confront the consequences of my choices. The road to redemption was just beginning, and I knew that it would be a long and arduous journey. But it was a journey I was determined to undertake, both for my own sake and for those whose lives I had irrevocably changed. In the weeks following my decision to reach out to Kevin, I found myself increasingly focused on the task at hand. I knew that making amends would be no easy feat, but it was a necessary step in confronting the fallout from my actions. The weight of my guilt was heavy, and I was determined to do what I could to alleviate the damage I had caused. Kevin's response to my offer of assistance was cautious but receptive. We agreed to meet at a local park, a neutral location away from the scrutiny of our previous interactions. I approached the meeting with a mix of apprehension and resolve, knowing that this would be a crucial moment in my journey toward redemption. When I arrived at the park, Kevin was already there, sitting on a bench, his posture slouched in exhaustion. He looked up as I approached, his expression a mixture of wariness and curiosity. I took a deep breath and sat down beside him, trying to project a calm demeanor despite the turmoil inside. Kevin, I began, thank you for agreeing to meet. I know things have been rough, and I wanted to reach out to see how I might be able to help. Kevin nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the ground. I appreciate that, Andrew. I've been struggling a lot lately. My health is deteriorating, and the pressure of the situation is taking a toll on both my physical and mental well-being. I don't know what to do. I listened attentively, feeling a deep sense of empathy for the man I had once viewed as my rival. The realization of the full extent of the damage I had caused was sobering. I understand, Kevin. I know that what I did was wrong, and I want to find a way to make things right, even if it's just a small step. We talked for hours, discussing Kevin's current situation and the challenges he faced. I offered to use my medical knowledge and connections to help him find the right treatment for his condition. It was a modest offer, but it was a sincere attempt to address the damage I had done. Kevin seemed hesitant at first, but as we talked, he began to open up about his fears and frustrations. The conversation was cathartic for both of us, and it was clear that while the road to recovery would be long and difficult, there was a glimmer of hope. The process of helping Kevin was slow and incremental. I used my professional connections to arrange consultations with specialists and facilitated access to treatments that could alleviate his symptoms. It was a small measure of restitution, but it was a start. Kevin's health began to show some improvement, and though the journey was far from over, there was a sense of progress. In parallel, I continued to work on repairing my own life. The damage to my professional reputation was significant, but I made a concerted effort to regain the trust of my colleagues and patients. I focused on my work with renewed dedication, striving to demonstrate my commitment to my patients and my profession. Melissa remained a complicated part of this equation. Her relationship with Kevin was strained, and the weight of the public scandal had left her isolated. I reached out to her, offering support in the form of professional counseling and assistance in navigating the fallout. It was clear that while we could not undo the past, there were ways to offer help in the present. Our interactions were cautious but respectful. Melissa seemed appreciative of the support, though there was an underlying sadness in her demeanor. The once vibrant woman I had known was now weighed down by the consequences of our shared mistakes. The journey toward redemption was far from over, and there were many challenges still ahead. But with each step, I felt a sense of purpose and a growing understanding of the complexity of human relationships. The road to healing was filled with obstacles, but it was also marked by moments of clarity and growth. As the months passed, I began to see the fruits of our efforts. Kevin's health showed signs of improvement, and his career, while still recovering, began to regain some of its former stability. Melissa started to rebuild her life, finding a sense of peace amid the chaos. The scars of the past would always remain, a reminder of the pain and regret that had shaped our lives. But the process of making amends, of confronting the consequences of my actions, had become a path to personal growth and redemption. In the end, I realized that while revenge had brought momentary satisfaction, it was the process of facing the truth and working toward healing that truly mattered. The journey was far from over, but it was a journey I was committed to seeing through, both for my own sake and for the sake of those whose lives I had touched. As the months turned into a year, the ripple effects of the scandal continued to shape the lives of everyone involved. Kevin's health had stabilized somewhat, thanks to the treatment and support I had arranged. His career, though still in recovery, showed signs of gradual improvement. The public's perception of him remained tainted, but he was slowly regaining a measure of respect. Melissa, too, had begun to rebuild her life. The support she received from friends and family, combined with professional counseling, helped her navigate the fallout from the scandal. Her relationship with Kevin was more stable, though it was clear that the wounds of the past would take time to heal. She had managed to find a new job and was starting to establish a sense of normalcy. For me, the path to redemption was an ongoing process. The damage to my professional reputation was not easily repaired, but I continued to work diligently to regain the trust of my colleagues and patients. The journey was arduous, but I was determined to make things right. My interactions with Kevin and Melissa had taught me valuable lessons about responsibility and the consequences of my actions. One afternoon, as I was leaving work, I received an unexpected message from Melissa. She wanted to meet, and though I was unsure of what to expect, I agreed. We met at the same cafe where we had had our previous conversations. The familiar setting felt oddly comforting, a symbol of the difficult journey we had all been through. Melissa greeted me with a warm smile, though there was a hint of nervousness in her eyes. "Andrew, thank you for coming. I wanted to talk to you about something important." We sat down, and Melissa took a deep breath before speaking. "I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened, and I've come to realize that the impact of the scandal has extended beyond just us. It's affected everyone who was involved, and I think it's time we do something positive to make amends." Her words surprised me. "What do you have in mind?" Melissa explained her idea, a charity event to raise awareness about the consequences of public scandals and to support those affected by such events. It was a way to turn our personal struggles into something meaningful, to use our experiences to help others. The idea was ambitious, but it struck a chord with me. It offered a chance to channel our pain into positive action. Over the next few months, Melissa and I worked together to organize the event. We reached out to local businesses, community leaders, and media outlets to garner support. The event was designed to provide resources and support for individuals and families who had been impacted by similar situations. It was a way to address the broader issues stemming from personal crises and public scandals. Kevin, though still dealing with the aftermath of his career and health issues, agreed to participate. His presence at the event was a testament to his resilience and commitment to making a difference. He spoke candidly about his experiences, sharing his story with the audience and offering support to those in similar situations. The event was a success, both in terms of fundraising and raising awareness. It attracted a significant amount of media attention, and the positive response from the community was overwhelming. It was clear that our efforts had made a difference, and the experience provided a sense of closure and purpose. As I stood at the event, watching the impact of our work, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had led to something meaningful. The pain and regret of the past were still present, but they were now accompanied by a sense of hope and redemption. In the aftermath of the event, I continued to work on rebuilding my life. The trust I had worked so hard to regain was now firmly in place, and my relationships with colleagues and patients had improved. The process of healing and making amends was ongoing, but the progress was evident. Melissa and Kevin also began to see positive changes in their lives. The charity event had not only provided a sense of purpose but had also helped them find a measure of peace. Their relationship, though still complex, was more stable, and they continued to work on rebuilding their lives. The journey toward redemption had taught me invaluable lessons about responsibility, empathy, and the power of positive action. The path had been fraught with challenges, but it had ultimately led to a place of growth and understanding. The ripple effects of our actions had been profound, but through our efforts, we had managed to turn a painful chapter into a source of hope and healing for others. The charity event had been a turning point for all of us. As we moved forward, the lingering effects of the scandal gradually receded, though they never truly disappeared. The public's perception of Kevin and Melissa had improved somewhat, thanks to their participation in the charity and their efforts to rebuild their lives. For me, it had been a period of reflection and growth, but I knew that the road ahead was still fraught with challenges. One crisp autumn morning, I was at home enjoying a rare moment of quiet when the phone rang. It was an invitation to speak at a conference on ethics and professional conduct. The conference was being organized by a prominent institution, and the topic was highly relevant given my recent experiences. At first, I was hesitant, unsure if speaking publicly about my journey was the right step. However, after some consideration, I realized that it could be an opportunity to share what I had learned and to contribute to a broader conversation on ethics and responsibility. Preparing for the conference was an emotionally taxing process. I spent hours reflecting on my experiences, writing and rewriting my speech to ensure that it conveyed the complexities of my journey without being overly self-indulgent. I wanted to provide insight into the consequences of my actions, the challenges of seeking redemption, and the importance of personal and professional integrity. The day of the conference arrived, and I found myself standing on the stage in front of a room full of professionals, academics, and students. The audience was attentive, and I could feel the weight of their expectations. I took a deep breath and began my presentation, sharing my story with honesty and vulnerability. Ladies and gentlemen, I started. Today I want to talk about the consequences of our actions, the pursuit of redemption, and the importance of facing the truth. My own journey has been marked by mistakes, pain, and regret, but it has also been a path to growth and understanding. As I spoke, I saw a range of reactions in the audience, some nodding in agreement, others visibly moved by the rawness of my story. I shared the impact of my decisions on Kevin, Melissa, and myself, and I discussed the lessons I had learned about responsibility, empathy, and the complexity of human relationships. The feedback from the conference was overwhelmingly positive. Attendees appreciated my candor and the insights I provided into the ethical dilemmas and personal challenges I faced. The experience was cathartic and reaffirming, and it reinforced my commitment to maintaining integrity in both my personal and professional life. In the weeks following the conference, I continued to focus on my work and my personal growth. The experience had provided a renewed sense of purpose, and I was dedicated to using my position to advocate for ethical practices and responsible behavior. My interactions with colleagues and patients were marked by a deeper sense of empathy and understanding. Melissa and Kevin, meanwhile, continued their journey of rebuilding. Their relationship had weathered many storms, and though it remained complex, they were finding ways to move forward together. Kevin's career showed signs of steady recovery, and Melissa's efforts to re-establish her own life were paying off. They were both involved in various community initiatives, using their experiences to support others who had faced similar challenges. One evening, I received a letter from Melissa. It was a simple but heartfelt note expressing her gratitude for the support and understanding I had shown throughout our tumultuous journey. She wrote about the progress she and Kevin had made and the positive changes in their lives. The letter was a reminder of how far we had come and the importance of continuing to work towards a better future. As I reflected on the letter and the journey that had brought us to this point, I realized that while the scars of the past would always remain, they were now accompanied by a sense of hope and renewal. The path to redemption was not a destination but an ongoing journey, marked by continuous effort and self-improvement. The future remained uncertain, but it was now filled with possibilities. The lessons learned from our experiences had become guiding principles, shaping the way we approached our lives and interactions. The process of healing and growth was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of positive change. As I looked ahead, I felt a sense of optimism and determination. The journey had been arduous, but it had led to a place of greater understanding and purpose. The path to redemption was ongoing, and while the past could not be undone, the future was a canvas on which we could continue to shape our lives with integrity, compassion, and a commitment to making a difference. The time had come for a new chapter in our lives, one focused on rebuilding and forging new paths. The charity event had laid a foundation for positive change, but there was still much work to be done in repairing the relationships and reputations that had been damaged. For me, this meant not only continuing to mend fences but also finding ways to contribute meaningfully to the community. I started by reaching out to those who had been affected by the scandal and by my actions. I contacted former colleagues, patients, and even some of the media representatives who had covered the story. My goal was to offer a sincere apology and to explain the steps I had taken to address the issues that had arisen. It was a humbling experience, but one that was essential for moving forward. During this period of outreach, I found that many people were willing to listen and, in some cases, even express their understanding. The process of making amends was not always easy, but it was an important step in regaining trust and rebuilding my professional relationships. Each conversation was a reminder of the impact of my actions and the importance of addressing the past with honesty and humility. Meanwhile, Melissa and Kevin were continuing their own efforts to rebuild their lives. Their involvement in community initiatives had become a significant part of their daily routine. They were now actively participating in support groups and advocacy programs aimed at helping others who had faced public scandals and personal crises. Their commitment to using their experiences for the greater good was both inspiring and a testament to their resilience. One day, Melissa called me with an idea. She wanted to organize a series of workshops focused on mental health and coping strategies for individuals facing personal crises. The goal was to provide support and resources for those struggling with similar challenges, and she hoped that I would be willing to contribute. The proposal resonated with me, as it aligned with my own commitment to making a positive impact. We began planning the workshops together, drawing on our experiences and the lessons we had learned. We reached out to mental health professionals, community leaders, and organizations to gather support and resources. The workshops were designed to offer practical advice, emotional support, and a safe space for participants to share their experiences. The first workshop was a significant milestone. We had a diverse group of attendees, including individuals from various backgrounds and walks of life. The atmosphere was one of openness and support, and the sessions were filled with meaningful discussions and shared experiences. It was clear that the workshops were making a difference, providing valuable resources and a sense of community for those who needed it. As the series of workshops continued, I found myself increasingly involved in the planning and facilitation. The experience was both fulfilling and challenging, and it reinforced my commitment to using my skills and experiences to help others. Melissa and Kevin also played active roles, sharing their stories and offering support to participants. The impact of the workshops was evident in the feedback we received. Participants expressed gratitude for the support and resources provided, and many reported feeling a renewed sense of hope and direction. The workshops became a beacon of positivity in the midst of the challenges we had all faced. In addition to the workshops, I continued to work on rebuilding my professional life. I took on new projects and responsibilities, striving to demonstrate my commitment to ethical practices and personal integrity. The support of my colleagues and patients was a testament to the progress I had made, and it provided a sense of reassurance as I moved forward. Melissa and Kevin's journey of rebuilding also continued. Their efforts in the community and their involvement in advocacy work helped to further restore their reputations and strengthen their relationships. The process was ongoing, but they were making steady progress and finding new ways to contribute to the well-being of others. As we moved into this new phase of our lives, I reflected on the journey that had brought us to this point. The path had been marked by mistakes, pain, and regret, but it had also been filled with moments of growth, healing, and redemption. The work we were doing now was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of positive change. The future remained uncertain, but it was filled with possibilities. The lessons learned from our experiences had become guiding principles, shaping our approach to life and our interactions with others. The process of rebuilding and making amends was an ongoing journey, but it was one that we were committed to pursuing with integrity, compassion, and a sense of purpose. As I looked ahead, I felt a renewed sense of optimism and determination. The journey had been challenging, but it had led to a place of greater understanding and positive impact. The path to redemption was ongoing, and while the past could not be undone, the future was an opportunity to continue shaping our lives with purpose and commitment. As the workshops and community initiatives gained momentum, life began to settle into a new rhythm. The support we were providing was making a tangible difference, and the renewed focus on helping others gave us a sense of purpose and fulfillment. However, the past has a way of reasserting itself, and sometimes the unanticipated can disrupt even the most well-intentioned plans. One evening, while preparing for another workshop, I received a call from an old friend, Jonathan, who was also a journalist. He was investigating a story about a high-profile scandal involving a prominent figure in the sports industry. As he explained the details, it became clear that the story had connections to Kevin's past, specifically to some of the controversies surrounding his career. Jonathan's tone was serious, and he seemed genuinely concerned. "Andrew, I need your help. There's something troubling in this story that connects back to Kevin, and I'm worried that it might drag up old wounds and cause more harm." I was taken aback. The last thing I wanted was for Kevin's past issues to resurface, potentially undoing the progress he had made. "What exactly are you talking about?" I asked, trying to grasp the gravity of the situation. Jonathan outlined that there were allegations of misconduct and unethical behavior associated with a sports organization that Kevin had once been affiliated with. These allegations were part of a larger investigation into corruption and abuse, and Kevin's name was appearing as a key figure in the scandal. My mind raced. The timing couldn't have been worse. We were in the midst of trying to stabilize Kevin's career and build a positive public image. Any association with this scandal could jeopardize everything we had worked for. "I understand your concern," I said, "but I'm deeply worried about how this could affect Kevin. Is there any way to handle this without causing more harm?" Jonathan agreed to look into it further and promised to keep me updated. In the meantime, I reached out to Kevin and Melissa, explaining the situation. Their reactions were a mix of shock and apprehension. Kevin, in particular, was distressed by the news. "This could be disastrous," Kevin said. "After everything we've been through, the last thing we need is another scandal. I don't know how we're going to manage this." Melissa, ever supportive, tried to provide a sense of calm. "We need to address this head-on. If there's anything we can do to clarify the situation or provide context, we should." We decided to prepare a statement addressing the issue. The goal was to provide a clear and honest account of Kevin's current standing and his efforts to rectify past mistakes. We hoped that transparency would help mitigate the damage and show that Kevin was committed to ethical practices. The day after the statement was released, the media frenzy began. The story dominated the headlines, and the scrutiny on Kevin was intense. Despite our efforts to address the issue proactively, the public's reaction was mixed. Some viewed our statement as a positive step towards transparency, while others saw it as an attempt to deflect from the larger scandal. Throughout the ordeal, I continued to work closely with Kevin and Melissa, offering support and guidance. The media coverage had renewed the pressure on Kevin, but he remained focused on his recovery and the positive contributions he was making through our community initiatives. The situation highlighted the unpredictable nature of public scrutiny and the challenges of navigating the aftermath of a scandal. Despite the setbacks, Kevin and Melissa continued their advocacy work and remained committed to making a positive impact. The experience reinforced the importance of resilience and the need to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. As the media storm eventually began to subside, Kevin's situation stabilized once again. The support from our community and the continued efforts of the charity initiatives provided a buffer against the negative attention. The ordeal had been a harsh reminder of the complexities of public life and the fragility of reputation. Reflecting on the experience, I realized that while the journey to redemption was fraught with challenges, it was also marked by moments of growth and strength. The setbacks had tested our resolve, but they had also reinforced the importance of staying true to our values and continuing to work towards positive change. The future remained uncertain, but we faced it with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The lessons learned from the past, combined with the ongoing efforts to contribute positively to the community, provided a sense of direction and hope. As I looked ahead, I knew that the path to redemption was a continuous journey. The past would always be a part of us, but it was how we responded to the challenges and embraced the opportunities for growth that would ultimately define our path forward. The storm of the recent scandal had finally begun to settle, leaving behind a mixture of relief and residual anxiety. With the immediate crisis over, we found ourselves at a crossroads, facing the challenge of rebuilding our lives and moving forward with renewed purpose. Kevin, though exhausted from the media scrutiny, remained focused on his path to recovery. The charity work and community initiatives provided him with a renewed sense of purpose, and he continued to work diligently to rebuild his career. The challenges he faced had only strengthened his resolve to make a positive impact. Melissa, too, was finding her footing again. The workshops and advocacy work had become a central part of her life, and she was deeply committed to supporting others who had faced similar crises. Her own personal journey of healing was ongoing, but she was determined to use her experiences to help others navigate their own challenges. For me, the focus shifted to creating a more balanced and purposeful life. The experiences of the past year had profoundly changed my perspective, and I was committed to applying the lessons I had learned to both my personal and professional endeavors. I had decided to take a sabbatical from my medical practice to explore new opportunities and to invest more time in the community work that had become so important to me. One day, as I was reflecting on our journey, I received an unexpected phone call from an old mentor, Dr. Elizabeth Warren. She was now retired but had been a significant influence on my career. Her voice on the other end of the line was warm and reassuring. "Andrew, I've been following your recent work and the challenges you faced. I wanted to reach out and offer my support. I've been thinking that there might be an opportunity for you to share your experiences and insights on a broader scale." Dr. Warren's offer was intriguing. She suggested that I consider writing a book about my journey, focusing on the themes of redemption, resilience, and the lessons learned from personal and professional crises. The idea of writing a book was both daunting and exciting. It would be a chance to reflect on the past and to provide a narrative that could potentially help others facing similar challenges. I took some time to think about the offer and ultimately decided to pursue it. Writing the book would be a significant undertaking, but it aligned with my desire to contribute positively and to share the lessons I had learned. I began working on the manuscript, drawing on my experiences, reflections, and the stories of those who had been part of the journey. As I worked on the book, I continued to support Kevin and Melissa in their efforts. We remained in close contact, sharing updates and collaborating on community projects. The bond between us, forged through shared struggles and triumphs, remained strong. One evening, after a particularly productive writing session, I received a message from Melissa. She wanted to meet to discuss a new initiative she had in mind. We met at our usual cafe, and she shared her idea with enthusiasm. "I've been thinking about how we can extend our impact even further," she said. "What if we created a mentorship program for individuals facing public scrutiny and personal crises? We could connect them with mentors who have navigated similar challenges and offer guidance and support." The idea resonated with me. A mentorship program would provide valuable support and resources to those in need, and it would align with our ongoing efforts to contribute positively to the community. We began working on the details, reaching out to potential mentors and developing a framework for the program. As the mentorship program took shape, it became clear that it had the potential to make a significant difference. We received positive feedback from both mentors and mentees, and the program began to attract attention from various organizations and media outlets. The book was progressing as well, with each chapter reflecting on the lessons learned and the insights gained from the journey. The process of writing was therapeutic and provided a sense of closure and purpose. One day, as I was reviewing the final draft of the book, I received a call from Kevin. He wanted to update me on his progress. His career was steadily improving, and he had recently been offered a new position with a reputable organization. The news was a testament to his resilience and hard work. Melissa also shared exciting news. The mentorship program had been officially launched, and the initial response had been overwhelmingly positive. The program was already making a tangible impact, providing support and guidance to individuals who needed it most. As I looked back on our journey, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunities we had to make a positive difference. The challenges we faced had been formidable, but they had led to a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to contributing to the well-being of others. The future was now filled with new possibilities and opportunities. The lessons learned from our experiences continued to guide our efforts, and the work we were doing had become a source of hope and inspiration. The journey to redemption was ongoing, but it was one that we embraced with optimism and determination. As I prepared to finalize the book and launch the mentorship program, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The past had shaped our lives in significant ways, but it was how we responded to the challenges and embraced the opportunities for growth that defined our path forward. The journey was far from over, but it was one that we were committed to navigating with integrity, compassion, and a sense of purpose. Months had passed since the launch of the mentorship program and the completion of my book. The impact of these initiatives was beginning to be felt across the community, and the stories of those who had found support and guidance through our efforts were both moving and inspiring. The challenges we had faced were far from over, but the work we had done was creating a meaningful legacy of change. The mentorship program had grown rapidly, attracting a diverse group of mentors and mentees. The connections being made were powerful, and the feedback from participants was overwhelmingly positive. It was clear that the program was providing valuable support and resources, and it was making a real difference in the lives of those who had faced personal and public crises. The book had also been well received. It was praised for its honesty, insight, and the lessons it conveyed about resilience and redemption. The process of writing and sharing my story had been a cathartic experience, and it was gratifying to know that it was resonating with readers and contributing to a broader conversation about personal growth and responsibility. One afternoon, as I was reviewing the latest updates from the mentorship program, I received a call from Melissa. Her voice was filled with excitement and anticipation. "Andrew, I have some incredible news," she said. "The mentorship program has caught the attention of a major philanthropic organization. They're interested in partnering with us to expand the program and reach even more people." The news was a significant development. A partnership with a philanthropic organization could provide the resources and support needed to take the program to new heights. Melissa and I discussed the details, and we agreed to meet with the organization's representatives to explore the possibilities. A few weeks later, we found ourselves in a conference room with representatives from the philanthropic organization. They were enthusiastic about the mentorship program and impressed by the positive impact it had already made. The discussion focused on how the partnership could enhance the program's reach and effectiveness. The representatives proposed several exciting ideas, including increased funding, expanded outreach efforts, and the development of additional resources and training for mentors. The possibilities were exhilarating, and it was clear that the partnership could significantly amplify the impact of our work. Melissa and I were thrilled by the prospect of this collaboration. It represented a major opportunity to further our mission and to support even more individuals who were facing challenges similar to those we had experienced. The partnership was formally established, and we began working on implementing the new initiatives. As the mentorship program expanded, we also continued to support Kevin in his efforts to rebuild his career. The new position he had secured was proving to be a good fit, and he was finding fulfillment in his work. His continued involvement in the program and community initiatives was a testament to his dedication and resilience. One evening, as I was reflecting on the progress we had made, I received an invitation to speak at a national conference on personal and professional ethics. The invitation was a recognition of the work we had done and the impact it had had on the broader conversation about responsibility and redemption. The opportunity to speak at the conference was both an honor and a responsibility. It provided a platform to share our experiences and to advocate for ethical practices and personal growth. I spent weeks preparing my presentation, focusing on the lessons learned from our journey and the importance of resilience and integrity. The day of the conference arrived, and I stood before a room filled with professionals, academics, and advocates. My presentation was met with a positive response, and the discussion that followed was engaging and thought-provoking. It was clear that the work we had done was contributing to a broader understanding of personal and professional ethics. As the conference concluded, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey we had undertaken had not only transformed our own lives but had also inspired and supported others. The legacy of change we had created was far-reaching, and it was a testament to the power of perseverance and the impact of positive action. Looking ahead, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenges of the past had shaped us, but they had also provided valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. The mentorship program, the book, and the continued advocacy work were all part of a broader mission to make a difference and to contribute to a more compassionate and understanding world. The future was filled with possibilities, and the path forward was one of continued commitment and dedication. The journey to redemption was ongoing, but it was marked by a sense of accomplishment and a deep appreciation for the lessons learned and the impact made. As we moved forward, we carried with us the knowledge that our efforts had created a meaningful legacy of change. One that would continue to inspire and support others for years to come. As the mentorship program flourished and the impact of our efforts became more pronounced, life took on a new rhythm. The focus on positive change and community support provided a sense of purpose and direction, but the past had a way of surfacing when least expected. An unexpected turn in our journey brought unresolved issues back into focus. It was a quiet afternoon when I received an email that stopped me in my tracks. The subject line read, Kevin and Melissa's past. As I opened the email, I discovered it was from a former colleague of mine, Jane, who had been involved in the early stages of the scandal. The message was a request for a meeting to discuss new developments related to Kevin and Melissa. Intrigued and somewhat apprehensive, I agreed to meet with Jane. We arranged to meet at a cafe where we could talk privately. When I arrived, Jane was already there, waiting with a serious expression. We exchanged pleasantries before she got straight to the point. Andrew, I've been following the recent developments with the mentorship program and the book, she began. There's something you need to know. Some documents have surfaced that could potentially impact Kevin and Melissa's current situation. Jane handed me a folder containing various documents and news clippings. As I reviewed them, it became clear that they included records of past allegations and internal reports from the organization Kevin had been affiliated with. The documents suggested that some issues had been suppressed or overlooked during the initial investigation. This could reopen old wounds, Jane explained. I'm not sure how this will be received, but I thought it was important for you to be aware of it. The revelation was disheartening. Despite our efforts to move forward and make positive changes, the potential for past issues to resurface threatened to undermine everything we had worked for. I was faced with a difficult decision: how to handle this new information without derailing the progress we had made. I decided to consult with Melissa and Kevin before taking any further action. We met at our usual cafe to discuss the situation. Kevin was visibly distressed upon learning about the documents. "This is a nightmare," he said. "I thought we had moved past all of this. How could this happen now?" Melissa, though concerned, remained composed. "We need to approach this with transparency and honesty. If these documents are valid, we have to address them head-on and provide context to the public." We agreed to seek legal advice and to determine the best course of action. The potential impact on the mentorship program and our ongoing initiatives weighed heavily on us, but we were determined to handle the situation with integrity. With the help of a legal team, we reviewed the documents and prepared a statement addressing the issues. Our goal was to provide a clear and honest account of the situation, acknowledging any past mistakes while emphasizing the positive steps we had taken since then. The statement was released to the public, and the response was mixed. Some media outlets reported on the new developments, while others focused on the positive impact of the mentorship program and our commitment to ethical practices. The attention from the media was intense, but we remained focused on continuing our work and addressing the concerns raised. In the midst of the turmoil, an unexpected development occurred. A prominent figure from Kevin's past, someone he had a contentious relationship with, reached out with a request for reconciliation. The figure, Michael, had been a key player in the initial controversy and had expressed a desire to meet and discuss the past. Kevin was initially hesitant, unsure if reconciling with Michael was the right move. However, after some reflection, he agreed to meet. The meeting was arranged in a neutral setting, and both parties came with a willingness to address their past grievances. The conversation was intense but productive. Kevin and Michael discussed their past conflicts, the impact of the scandal, and the lessons learned. The dialogue was honest and emotional, with both sides expressing their perspectives and acknowledging their mistakes. By the end of the meeting, there was a sense of mutual understanding and a tentative agreement to move forward. The reconciliation was not without its complexities, but it marked a significant step towards healing old wounds and addressing the unresolved issues from the past. As the weeks went by, the focus gradually shifted back to the positive work being done through the mentorship program and the community initiatives. The challenges of dealing with the resurfacing issues had been significant, but they had also reinforced our commitment to handling difficult situations with transparency and integrity. The reconciliation with Michael, while unexpected, proved to be a pivotal moment. It demonstrated the power of addressing past conflicts and the importance of moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. The process was a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there were opportunities for growth and healing. Looking ahead, I felt a renewed sense of optimism. The journey to redemption and positive change was ongoing, but it was marked by significant progress and meaningful connections. The legacy we were building through our work and the reconciliation efforts was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of addressing challenges with honesty and determination. The reconciliation with Michael had been a surprising yet positive development. As the weeks passed, the focus gradually shifted back to the ongoing work of the mentorship program and the community initiatives. However, the serenity we had managed to achieve was soon to be tested once more by an unforeseen challenge. It all began with a routine review of the mentorship program's progress. Melissa and I were preparing for an upcoming meeting with our philanthropic partner when I received a phone call from an unfamiliar number. It was from an investigative journalist, Rebecca Turner, who had been covering various stories related to high-profile scandals and public figures. "Andrew, I've been working on a follow-up story about Kevin and Melissa," Rebecca said. "There's been some new information that could impact the positive narrative we've been working on. I wanted to give you a heads up and discuss it before publishing anything." Rebecca explained that she had come across new allegations and potential evidence suggesting that some aspects of the mentorship program's funding and operations might not be as transparent as we had portrayed. The allegations involved misuse of funds and improper management practices. The news was unsettling. The thought that our efforts to create positive change could be tainted by allegations of misconduct was deeply troubling. Melissa and I agreed to meet with Rebecca to discuss the situation and to provide clarity. We arranged a meeting at a neutral location, and Rebecca presented her findings. The allegations were serious, and the potential damage to our reputation and the mentorship program was significant. Rebecca assured us that she was committed to getting the full story and providing a fair account. But she was also determined to uncover the truth. Our immediate priority was to address the allegations with transparency and to ensure that our practices were above reproach. We engaged an independent auditor to review the program's finances and operations thoroughly. The audit would provide an objective assessment and help us address any potential issues. As the audit progressed, we worked diligently to maintain open communication with Rebecca and the public. We issued statements reassuring stakeholders that we were taking the allegations seriously and that we were committed to ensuring transparency and accountability. The process was intense and stressful, but it was also a valuable opportunity to reinforce our commitment to ethical practices. The audit revealed some minor discrepancies but no evidence of deliberate misconduct. The findings were released to the public, and we addressed the issues with full transparency. The media coverage was mixed. Some outlets focused on the positive results of the audit and our commitment to addressing the allegations, while others continued to scrutinize the situation. The challenge was navigating the media landscape while remaining focused on the core mission of the mentorship program. Throughout the ordeal, Kevin and Melissa remained steadfast. They continued their involvement in the program and maintained their dedication to the community. Their resilience in the face of adversity was a testament to their commitment to positive change. One evening, as I was reviewing the latest updates, I received a message from Rebecca. She wanted to meet one last time to discuss the outcome of her investigation and the impact of the audit. At the meeting, Rebecca expressed her appreciation for our cooperation and transparency. She acknowledged the positive steps we had taken to address the issues and the commitment to ethical practices that had been demonstrated throughout the process. "I believe you've done everything possible to address the concerns and to ensure the integrity of the mentorship program," Rebecca said. "The public response will be mixed, but the important thing is that you've shown a commitment to transparency and accountability." The conversation with Rebecca provided a sense of closure and a renewed focus on the future. The challenges of the past months had been significant, but they had also reinforced the importance of staying true to our values and maintaining a commitment to ethical practices. Looking ahead, I felt a sense of cautious optimism. The final test had been a reminder of the complexities of managing public initiatives and the importance of addressing challenges with integrity and transparency. The work we had done through the mentorship program and the community initiatives continued to make a positive impact, and the lessons learned from the recent challenges would guide us moving forward. The journey to redemption and positive change was ongoing, but it was marked by a deepened understanding of the importance of resilience, transparency, and ethical practices. The final test had been a challenging yet valuable experience, and it had reinforced our commitment to making a meaningful difference in the lives of others. As we moved forward, the focus remained on continuing the work of the mentorship program and building on the positive momentum we had achieved. The legacy of change we were creating was a testament to the power of perseverance and the impact of staying true to our values in the face of adversity. As the dust settled from the recent challenges and the mentorship program continued to thrive, it became evident that the journey of redemption and positive change was far from over. Each experience, each obstacle, and each triumph had contributed to a deeper understanding of what it meant to persevere and to make a meaningful impact. The mentorship program had not only survived the scrutiny but had emerged stronger. The partnership with the philanthropic organization had proven to be a powerful catalyst for growth, expanding our reach and resources. We had successfully addressed the concerns raised during the audit, and the program's reputation was beginning to recover from the earlier setbacks. Melissa and I were now deeply immersed in the day-to-day operations of the program, working closely with mentors and mentees to ensure that our efforts were aligned with our mission. The feedback from participants continued to be overwhelmingly positive, and the stories of transformation and growth were a constant reminder of the importance of our work. One day, as I was preparing for a community event, I received a letter from someone who had been significantly impacted by the mentorship program. The letter was from a young woman named Emily, who had faced public scrutiny and personal challenges similar to those we had experienced. In her letter, Emily wrote about how the mentorship program had provided her with the support and guidance she needed to overcome her difficulties. She expressed her gratitude for the opportunities and resources that had been made available to her through the program and shared her own journey of personal growth and resilience. Reading Emily's letter was a poignant reminder of why we had embarked on this journey in the first place. Her story was a testament to the impact of the mentorship program and the difference it had made in her life. It was a powerful moment of reflection, reinforcing the value of the work we were doing and the importance of continuing our efforts. As the year drew to a close, we decided to host a special event to celebrate the achievements of the mentorship program and to honor the contributions of everyone involved. The event was held at a local community center, and it was a chance to bring together mentors, mentees, supporters, and stakeholders to reflect on the progress made and to look ahead to the future. The event was filled with heartfelt speeches, stories of transformation, and expressions of gratitude. Kevin and Melissa spoke about their personal journeys and the lessons learned along the way. Their words were both inspiring and moving, capturing the essence of the resilience and dedication that had characterized our work. As I stood before the audience, I reflected on the journey we had taken and the challenges we had overcome. The road to redemption had been long and arduous, but it had also been marked by significant achievements and meaningful connections. The mentorship program had become a beacon of hope and support for many, and the positive impact of our work was evident in the stories shared by participants. The event concluded with a sense of optimism and renewal. The legacy of change we had created was a testament to the power of perseverance, transparency, and commitment to ethical practices. The experiences of the past had shaped us, but they had also provided valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. As the new year approached, Melissa and I took some time to reflect on our personal and professional goals. The challenges we had faced had deepened our understanding of what it meant to lead with integrity and compassion. We were committed to continuing our work with renewed focus and dedication, embracing the opportunities to make a positive difference in the lives of others. The journey to redemption and positive change was ongoing, but it was one that we approached with a sense of purpose and determination. The work we had done through the mentorship program and the community initiatives had created a meaningful impact, and we remained committed to building on that legacy. Looking ahead, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the support and collaboration of everyone who had been part of this journey. The lessons learned and the experiences shared had shaped our path, and the future was filled with possibilities for continued growth and positive change. As I closed the final chapter of the book I had been writing, I felt a sense of accomplishment and closure. The journey had been transformative, and it had reinforced the importance of staying true to our values and remaining committed to making a meaningful impact. The road ahead was one of continued dedication to the work we had begun, and the legacy we were building would continue to inspire and support others for years to come. The journey to redemption was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of perseverance. And it was a journey we embraced with hope and optimism for the future. The new year brought a renewed sense of energy and purpose. The mentorship program was thriving, and the community initiatives were making a tangible difference. Yet, as often happens in life, an unexpected opportunity arose that would take our efforts in a new direction. It started with an invitation. I received a letter from a prestigious university offering me the chance to lead a special seminar series on ethics and personal resilience. The series was designed to engage students, professionals, and community leaders in discussions about navigating ethical dilemmas and personal growth, drawing on real-life experiences and lessons learned. The opportunity was both exciting and daunting. It would require me to step out of my comfort zone and share my personal journey on a larger stage. However, it also offered a chance to extend the impact of our work and to contribute to a broader dialogue about resilience and integrity. Melissa and I discussed the invitation, weighing the potential benefits and challenges. She was supportive, recognizing the value of reaching a new audience and sharing the lessons we had learned. We agreed that accepting the invitation would be a meaningful way to further our mission and to continue advocating for ethical practices and personal growth. The seminar series began with an introductory session that was met with enthusiasm. The audience included students, professionals, and community leaders eager to engage in discussions about ethical challenges and personal resilience. I was joined by a panel of experts, including mentors from our program and colleagues who had been influential in our work. The discussions were rich and insightful, covering a range of topics from navigating public scrutiny to maintaining personal integrity. The audience's engagement and feedback were positive, and the sessions provided valuable opportunities for sharing experiences and fostering meaningful connections. One particular session stood out. It was a discussion on the role of transparency in building trust. And it resonated deeply with the audience. We explored the importance of transparency in leadership, the impact of ethical practices on personal and professional relationships, and the challenges of maintaining honesty in the face of adversity. During the session, I shared my own experiences with the mentorship program and the challenges we had faced. The honest reflections and the lessons learned from our journey sparked a lively and thoughtful discussion. The feedback from the audience was overwhelmingly positive, with many expressing appreciation for the transparency and candor in addressing difficult topics. As the seminar series progressed, it became clear that the discussions were having a meaningful impact. Participants were inspired to reflect on their own experiences and to engage in conversations about ethics and resilience within their own communities. The series was creating a ripple effect, extending the reach of our work and fostering a broader dialogue about personal and professional integrity. One evening, after a particularly engaging session, I received a message from a student named Jason. He wanted to meet to discuss an idea he had for a new initiative. Jason's message was enthusiastic and filled with potential. We met at a cafe where Jason shared his idea for a resilience network, a platform designed to connect individuals who had faced significant challenges and to provide support, resources, and mentorship. The concept was inspired by the mentorship program and aimed to create a broader network of support for those navigating personal and professional difficulties. Jason's vision for the Resilience Network was compelling. It aligned with our mission of fostering resilience and providing support to individuals facing adversity. Melissa and I decided to collaborate with Jason on developing the initiative, leveraging our experience and resources to bring his vision to life. Over the next few months, we worked closely with Jason to establish the Resilience Network. The platform was designed to offer a range of resources, including mentorship opportunities, support groups, and educational materials. We reached out to potential partners and stakeholders to build a network of support and to ensure that the initiative was well-resourced and impactful. The launch of the Resilience Network was met with enthusiasm and support. The platform quickly gained traction, attracting individuals from diverse backgrounds who were seeking connection and guidance. The network provided a valuable resource for those navigating personal and professional challenges. And it was fulfilling to see the positive impact it was having. As I reflected on the journey of the past year, I felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The unforeseen opportunity to lead the seminar series had led to the creation of the Resilience Network, a new initiative that extended the reach of our work and provided additional support to those in need. The experience reinforced the importance of remaining open to new opportunities and of leveraging our experiences to contribute to meaningful change. The journey to redemption and positive change was ongoing, but it was marked by continued growth, collaboration, and the creation of new opportunities for making a difference. Looking ahead, the focus remained on building on the success of the Resilience Network and continuing the work of the mentorship program. The lessons learned and the connections made were invaluable, and the future was filled with possibilities for further impact and positive change. The journey had been transformative, and it had shown the power of perseverance, resilience, and the ability to turn challenges into opportunities. As we moved forward, we embraced the ongoing journey with optimism and a commitment to making a meaningful difference in the lives of others. As the Resilience Network gained momentum and the seminar series concluded, it became clear that our journey was entering a new phase. The growth and success of the mentorship program, coupled with the launch of the Resilience Network, marked a significant turning point. It was a time for reflection, celebration, and planning for the future. One sunny afternoon, as I reviewed the latest updates on the Resilience Network and the mentorship program, Melissa and I decided to take a much-needed break. We went for a walk in a local park, enjoying the fresh air and the chance to reconnect outside of work. "Andrew, can you believe how far we've come?" Melissa said, her voice filled with a mix of pride and relief. "It feels like we're finally seeing the fruits of our labor." I nodded, appreciating the moment. It's been an incredible journey. The challenges we've faced and the opportunities we've embraced have all led us to this point. I'm grateful for everything we've achieved and for the people we've been able to support. As we walked, we talked about the future and the potential for further growth. The success of the Resilience Network had opened new avenues for collaboration and outreach. We discussed the possibility of expanding the network's services, including developing new resources and partnerships. Melissa suggested that we consider creating a scholarship program to support individuals who wanted to pursue further education or professional development as part of their journey of resilience. The idea was compelling and aligned with our mission of providing meaningful support and opportunities for personal growth. The concept of a scholarship program quickly gained momentum. We began to develop a plan for the initiative, outlining the criteria for selection, the types of support to be provided, and the potential impact on recipients. The goal was to create a program that would offer financial assistance, mentorship, and resources to individuals pursuing educational and professional goals. As we worked on the scholarship program, we continued to engage with the community and gather feedback. We reached out to mentors, program participants, and supporters to ensure that the initiative would address the needs and aspirations of those it aimed to support. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Many individuals expressed their enthusiasm for the scholarship program and offered to contribute their time and resources to help make it a success. The support from the community was a testament to the collective commitment to fostering resilience and creating opportunities for growth. With the scholarship program taking shape, we prepared for a special event to announce the initiative and to celebrate the achievements of the mentorship program and the Resilience Network. The event was planned to bring together supporters, partners, and community members for a day of reflection and celebration. On the day of the event, the venue was filled with a sense of excitement and anticipation. The program included speeches, presentations, and personal stories from those who had been positively impacted by our work. The highlight of the event was the announcement of the scholarship program and the first recipients. The scholarship recipients were introduced, and their stories were shared with the audience. Each recipient had faced significant challenges and demonstrated remarkable resilience and determination. Their achievements were a testament to the impact of the mentorship program and the Resilience Network. As the event concluded, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The scholarship program was a new beginning, offering additional support and opportunities to individuals on their journey of personal and professional growth. The event had also reinforced the importance of community and collaboration in achieving meaningful change. The future was filled with possibilities. With the scholarship program underway and the mentorship program and resilience network continuing to thrive, there was a renewed sense of purpose and direction. The journey of redemption and positive change had come full circle, leading to new opportunities for making a difference. As I reflected on the journey, I was reminded of the power of perseverance, integrity, and the impact of turning challenges into opportunities. The work we had done had created a lasting legacy of support and empowerment, and the new initiatives were a testament to the ongoing commitment to fostering resilience and growth. Looking ahead, Melissa and I were excited to embrace the future with optimism and dedication. The journey had been transformative, and it had shown the importance of staying true to our values and remaining focused on making a meaningful impact. The road ahead was one of continued growth, collaboration, and positive change, and we were ready to embrace it with hope and determination. The journey to redemption and transformation was ongoing, but it was marked by a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to creating opportunities for others. As we moved forward, we carried with us the lessons learned and the experiences shared, ready to face new challenges and to continue making a difference in the lives of those we served.